All right, end of the week. Simply Bitcoin. We break down the news from Twitter, the Daily Fail, the meme review, software releases, and the websites by plebes or plebs. Drop us a like, subscribe. We're going to the numbers.
Number time!
I always see the plebes or plebs debate coming up.
I know.
I always see it. Like, people get pissed. I hate that. I hate the way he says it. And it's not even just me, because other people say plebes too, and they're like, I hate the way you say it. At the time of this recording, the block height is 689,438. The Bitcoin price, 33,470. Chain rewrite days, 1,030. I guess they haven't adjusted yet. Total public Lightning capacity, 1,648.86. Again, all-time high on that. Anyways, Bitcoin versus gold market cap, 5.39%. And sats per dollar, getting too close to that 3K for comfort, 2,988 sats per your dollar. You're getting more sats for your dollar.
But anyways, Phil, it's time for
the Daily Fail. You know, one of the things about opening your mouth is that if you say that you're going to do something, and people are going to hold you accountable to it. So I opened my big mouth and I was like, yeah, you know what? We probably have enough rug pulls that I could do one of these every day. And then somebody in the comments was like, yeah, I'd love it if you did a rug pull every day. And it's like, oh my God. And it's like, it's true. There's a lot of them. Okay. So what we're going to do is we are going to what we're going to commit to is we're going to throw one rug pull in every week. Okay. So here we go. This is us kicking off that, this kind of new addition to Simply Bitcoin. And our first rug pull, as you've all been staring at the screen while I talk, is StableNet has rugged. It looks like they stole about $22 million. Revoke permissions as soon as possible. Sounds like somebody can do that. Sounds like it's centralized garbage. They're using permissions to steal more money from people.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So anyways, now, of course, I wanted to dig a little deeper, find out a little bit more about Stable Magnet. So I figured we'd go take a look at their Twitter. Oh, there's no Stable Magnet. The account doesn't exist. So Stable Magnet, you're the one that's kicking this off for us. So look, guys, we're going to cover these as much as possible. 22 million bucks. I mean, look, this happened to us in 2017 with the ICO craze. Mm-hmm. I was a sucker. I don't know if I've even told this story here, but like I bought Unicoin Gold. I listened to all this crap, right? Ashton Kutcher was an investor. Our boy, right? The Cubes, the Banana Coin man, right? And I was a putz. And I'm like, oh my God, look at these backers. Of course this thing is going to stick around. And then in-game money, how could it not gain value, right? Look at Chuck E. Cheese tokens and how much they're worth. Like, I'm a putz. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go do this. And back then, that type of rug pull, even though you gave your money, you had like a good 3 to 6 month period where you didn't know that it was going to go to zero yet. Okay. So for that amount of time, you were super excited. But in these types, the new rug pulls, they are super quick. It's like before you know it, the money is gone. Anyways.
They're so fast now.
Like,
I remember,
the Twitter account disappears, the money disappears, everything just disappears.
Like in
2017,
it wasn't that professional, dude. It was a mess. It was a mess, right? There were scams, but they weren't. These are like efficient scams. These are like bah. And look, I feel I want to kind of talk about a little bit of what we were talking about. Look, guys, part of the reason we're so toxic on this show and we give shitcoins such a hard time is because Phil and I both went through that. I would say most Bitcoiners go through a shitcoin phase, right? You go through a shitcoin phase, you pay the price of tuition, you pay the amount of Bitcoin that you could have had if you just stuck to Bitcoin, right? That's what you pay. You learn the lesson and then you find Bitcoin, right? But it's just another example of like, dude, shitcoins are designed to take away your Bitcoin. That is literally the only thing that they are for. Once you understand that, everything just becomes apparent.
And I just, again, I just want to add, right? We're not saying that you can't gamble and you can't, you can't make money. There are a very small group of people that do make money off of shitcoins. But the majority of us that will partake in this stupidity are going to lose more money than we should, more money than we can really afford. So it's really not worth that risk.
And dude, you could just, and you could just literally just buy Bitcoin, hodl it, think
and have the
long-term.
real asset.
Yeah, and think
Have the
long-term.
actual asset, like the real thing that you think you're buying when you're buying those shitcoins, right? Because that's what happens. You
Yeah.
think that you're getting that stuff, but you're not.
You're getting centralized garbage.
Garbage.
Oh yeah. But awesome. The first edition of the Simply Bitcoin rug pull coverage.
Rug
Phil.
pull coverage.
Rug pull coverage. Phil, it's time for it.
The daily meme review.
All right, everybody. The meme for today, it was by Spinte, but the person that requested the meme review is Zach Kane 10. Definitely go give him a follow. He's a fellow plebe. Anyways, let's get to the meme by Spinte. Central bank, decentralization, Satoshi. Dude, it's epic. But look at this one, because this one's hilarious.
That's awesome.
So, wow, dude. Great meme by Spinte, and shout out to Zach for recommending it to us. But Phil, why don't you give the score first?
All right. So before I even give the score, that is an awesome meme, and I love that it's like a giant skeleton ghost kind of thing. Anyways, and for that, I am actually going to give it. I think I've given this in the past. I'm not even sure anymore, but I think it's well worthy. Okay, of the FUD dice.
Oh, dude, you haven't given those.
I haven't given those.
Alex Gladstein gave those.
Oh, that's right. But yes, I have FUD dice too, and that's a.
Wait, but what FUD did you give it?
Oh no, I just held it up.
You have to pick a specific one.
Do I?
Yeah.
Damn. All right. Well, if I'm gonna pick up a specific one, I'm gonna take.
What are you gonna give that meme?
This is very fitting for right now, and it's interesting because these FUD dice, I got them like 2 years ago. China FUD.
Ooh, dude, that's an amazing score. But I think I'm gonna top you off.
What do you got?
My foot massage thing that I keep under my desk. Yay!
You know what? Fuck this. We're going out to the car next time. Taking you out to the shed.
Dude, I had nothing, and I'm like, what am I gonna
Snow blower? My fucking snow blower. All right.
Oh man. Okay. But anyways, Phil, it's time for it.
The Daily News, sponsored by
Crypto Cloaks.
All right, everybody. I'm gonna take you down a short story today. Nico did a little bit of investigative reporting, so check this out. We covered this article yesterday, right? It was by Reuters. Central American officials land on list as part of U.S. corruption crackdown, right? Again, in that list, President Nayib Bukele, who passed La Ley Bitcoin in El Salvador, wasn't on that list. But the Reuters wants us to mentally associate Nayib Bukele with this corruption crackdown. Anyways, let's read some of that article from Reuters, the crap article. Central American president aides, top judges, and former presidents were put on a U.S. State Department list on Thursday that names individuals the U.S. government accuses of corruption, obstructing justice, and keyword here, undermining democracy. Okay? So, this tweet came out today by Undersecretary of a government, U.S. government official, and look who she was meeting with. She was meeting with the man, the myth, the legend himself, Nayib Bukele. Now, I want you to pay attention to the language she uses. Had a productive meeting with President Nayib Bukele and Foreign Minister Alexandra Hill to discuss democracy, governance, and rule of law. We look forward to continuing to collaborate to promote a safe, democratic, and prosperous El Salvador, right? So the words, I want you to pay attention to the words. They're very important. Very similar wording here. Okay, so why is it that the U.S. is taking such an interest in El Salvador? Could it have something to do with Bitcoin? I don't know. Let's see what Nayib Bukele has to say. He tweeted this about 20 hours ago, very cryptic. United Fruit Company, right? Around the same time, this came out. What was the United Fruit Company? Let's check it out. It maintained a virtual monopoly in certain regions, some of which came to be called banana republics, such as Costa Rica, Honduras, and Guatemala. United Fruit had a deep and long-lasting impact on the economic and political development of several Latin American countries. Critics often accuse it of exploitative neo-colonialism and described it as the archetypal example of the influence of a multinational corporation on the internal politics of the banana republics, right? So, again, is it a coincidence, that he tweeted this right after? Because it's weird. The U.S. really never had any interest in El Salvador, right? There's no oil there. There's no nothing. But look, they're sending diplomats down there. I wonder why,
Wait a second. We've got a deal for you. Hold on.
And check this out. It gets deeper, guys. It gets deeper. Nico did some more research. Here's Jack's tweet from yesterday, which we covered. Pawn to E4 world. And check out this tweet by the president, Nayib Bukele. That is a pond. And that is a Bitcoiner down there saying pawn to E4. So, shots fired, baby. Shots fired. Oh, the U.S.
I just got goosebumps.
The U.S. dollar, baby. They are scared, huh? They are scared. They're using the propaganda arm. They're using all the cylinders, all the words, all the buzzwords, maintain, democracy, whatever. Look, guys, I just want to say something about democracy, okay? Look, last election, whether you believe it happened or not, whatever, I don't, your personal opinion, I'm just going to say this. A big percentage of the American population doesn't believe that election was legitimate. So it's kind of, an outstretch or very hypocritical for the U.S. to go to another country, which it has a history of, reading from the article, right, of being a neocolonial power in that area, has a history of kind of oppressing those nations economically. And the U.S. just goes in there and says, "Hey, I don't like your democracy. I don't like your corruption." There's no issues with democracy in the U.S. There's no issues with corruption in the U.S. It's just the hypocrisy is crazy because we all know it's not about democracy. We all know this is about the dollar remaining the world reserve currency. That's all they care about. And the fact that they reacted the way they reacted, the fact that the mainstream media colluded with a government because they were using the same exact buzzwords, okay? That can't be a coincidence. You could go look at it yourself, right? That tells me they're scared. That tells me they're worried. And that tells me we're winning. So, man, if you look through the noise and you pay attention to the signal, there was a lot of signal in those tweets, Phil.
Yeah, man, there definitely was. And that was, I totally love the chess move talk. Okay. I think that is absolutely awesome. I don't know. I really hope, I truly hope that Nayib Bukele is ready for what is going to come, because remember, they can offer you an incredible amount of power. Seemingly, right? Let's be honest. The money printers can offer you a lot of power. They can offer you a lot of temporary control. So,
but he's saying the pond.
I know, and that's why I'm hoping. That's why I got the goosebumps, because I'm hoping, right? I'm hoping that there is this, this strong desire even from him, right? He was a kid once too. He, I'm sure he had to go and earn a buck. People learn, what it's like to trade their time for money at some point. So maybe he sees that there's something wrong and he is the person that can actually try to fix it there. So
if he actually cares about his people, that 70% are using remittances and they're getting absolutely destroyed, there is no reason why, he shouldn't move forward. Right. So, and the fact that he tweeted, he was very cryptic tweets. You have to really read into them, the pond and, the fruit company,
the United Fruit Company.
So you can kind of see where he's standing. Right. So for now, right, he is a politician at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I get worried about. But he's also a politician that hasn't mentioned shitcoins.
This is
that's
true.
Kind of compared to some of the other ones, right? Because the other ones all sit there and they talk about Bitcoin, but then they start talking about crypto.
Yeah. They
So-
put two and two.
Yeah.
They don't see the difference. But yeah, man, those politicians are gonna have fun staying poor. But anyways, Phil, let's talk about the big news of this week, because it's coming. The difficulty adjustment is coming fast. Let's take a look at the hash rate. It has taken a dump, a massive dump. This is one of the biggest dumps in Bitcoin's history. Let's take a look at the 30-day chart. It looks like it's going to keep on going down. But some good news, right? You know, to kind of debunk the mining death spiral, right? The biggest difficulty adjustment in Bitcoin's history. I was talking about this on Monday. It was at 25% at the time. I said that by Friday, it should be closer to 30%. Looks like I was right. We're now sitting almost at a 28% difficulty adjustment change. That's absolutely crazy. This should happen tomorrow or in 34 blocks. Currently, with the current difficulty and with the amount of hash power on the network, it's taking 13 minutes, almost 14 minutes to find a block. That's how far behind we're going. That's how far behind it is.
Really
However, I want to point out that Bitcoin was attacked by a nation state, and the worst thing that happened was blocks are coming in a little bit slower until tomorrow, and then they'll be coming normally again, right? So it's crazy. This just shows me the resilience of Bitcoin. This has never happened before in Bitcoin's history, just a hash rate drop of that magnitude. Like I've been saying so many times before earlier on the week, this was not these were not market forces that were pushing down the hash rate. This was an artificial force. This was the Chinese government cracking down on Bitcoin miners within the country. So yeah, man, but there is hope. And let me kind of pull up this article. Miners, like we've been talking, like most of this week, are relocating all around the world. So we know some of them are going to Kazakhstan. We know some of them are going to El Salvador to use that sweet, sweet volcanic energy. Some of them are going to Iceland. Some of them are going to Texas. And now we know some of them are going to South Carolina. That's where I mine. So very cool. Greenidge? Okay. Greenidge generation. Greenidge. It's
I don't know.
spelled weird. Greenidge generation to expand Bitcoin mining with South Carolina plan. That's awesome. Greenidge generation said it plans to expand Bitcoin mining operations by adding a facility in Spartanburg, South Carolina. It already has an operation in New York. So, but I want you guys to pay attention to this part, right? Greenidge generation said it is committed to environmental leadership in shitcoin and Bitcoin operations, and 2/3 of the electricity at the site is sourced from zero carbon sources such as nuclear power. And the reason that I wanted to call this out is because the environmental FUD is a method of control, like Marty Bent so well put in this tweet. Says, reminder, there is no climate emergency. A group of extremists have been fear-mongering about this for decades, despite a precipitous fall in climate-related deaths across the planet. They don't care about the environment or humans. They care about control over their fellow humans. This movement is now called ESG. And he goes on to just rant and go at it, Marty, because you're right? And We've been covering this. We've been telling you that ESG is a scam. We've been telling you that this is a method of control, right? If you control how people could use their energy, you control people, right? So this is a method of control. But Michael Saylor is trying to get in front of this, right? And as you could see by that article, it looks like the mining operations in the United States are strategically trying to get their energy from natural resources, because that way there's no way to attack them, with the ESG narrative, right? So look, I agree with Marty. I think it's absolute bullshit. We shouldn't even buy into the narrative. We should just completely deny it, and just not accept it whatsoever. But, I'm sure Michael Saylor had this, this idea as well, right? When he saw Elon Musk, say those things about Bitcoin, FUD Bitcoin, saying it's too dirty, accepting Bitcoin for Teslas on his website, and then saying, no, we can't do that because Bitcoin's too dirty. this hash rate moving to the United States and it being deployed here in certain ways is going to kill that FUD. Because now the majority of Bitcoin's hash rate, you could safely say, comes from carbon neutral sources, right? So this lays to bed, right? This is, again, so not only is the hash rate coming to the United States a good thing because it's further decentralizing the hash rate away from China, but it's also putting to bed the environment FUD, which was going to be one of the vectors that people are going to use to attack Bitcoin. So it's good news, right? It's short-term bad news, long-term bullish, like always. Phil?
Yeah, it just got me thinking, right? Like, that ESG narrative, you know, at the end of the day, that ESG narrative against Bitcoin, you know, it's only going to last so long until they realize that there's really, it's not going to work. So what's the next thing, right? Like, I mean, the next thing is that all of a sudden, and I think we already started to see it, I forget what it was, there was a tweet that I saw where, like, essentially they're trying to associate Bitcoin with right-wing extremism.
Yes.
Okay, so we've got all of these attacks coming in on Bitcoin, and I want people to really think about this. Bitcoin just is. All it does is churn out a block filled with transactions and fees. Okay, like, it's... I just, you know, it's mind-boggling that these people are so afraid of money that actually frees people. I should say money that is freed from the state, from the control of the state. That they're willing to create a whole bunch of false narratives. They're actually willing to endanger themselves and other people's lives just to help propel this narrative. I mean, that's insane.
It's super crazy.
It's just, it's completely insane, man. You know, like, so it's like, okay, so, you know, they've tried everything they could so far, right? And now it's just going to be that somehow Bitcoin is related to a political ideology. Bro, when in fact it's not related to anything.
They're willing to go to El Salvador and show strength and release propaganda using mainstream media to try to scare this guy into submission. Okay. Yeah. And he's hinting, he's hitting that what's that thing, man? I forget.
What, the canary in the coal mine?
Exactly. He's you know, he's releasing that goddamn bird. He did it twice in the span of 2 days, right? So he's telling you what they're doing. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, man, look, but I'm glad that at the end of this, right, when this hash rate migration resolves itself, the climate narrative is going to be much harder to attack than it was before. Right? Because whether you like it or not, dude, that hash rate that was coming from China, a significant portion was coming from coal. Not that that's a bad thing, but again, these climate activists, these crazy people were always, they see that's a weak point. They're going to attack it, right? So it's good that they're relocating, and like Michael Saylor, the miners in this country are getting ahead, right? And they're planning ahead, and they're saying, listen, we're going to mine with renewable sources so that we can get these climate psychopaths off our back, right? So,
you know, this kind of reminds me of, like, right, because I'm a Gen Xer, this reminds me of the late 80s when all of a sudden hairspray became enemy number one to the world. If you had an aerosol bottle of any type, you were destroying the ozone layer, and you were going to help cause the sun to come and fry everything you love. And we attacked the hell out of hairspray and all the aerosol bottles and made it so that the ozone layer can live. You know what? Don't get me wrong, but nobody seems to give a shit about the ozone layer anymore. You know, it's like they bring up these narratives. And again, it's not to say that things that we do here don't affect the environment or something like that. But I think that, like, we are way too self-absorbed and think that we're that important.
So,
okay, that we're really affecting things on this grand scale.
I think I agree. I think it's always an emergency, right? It's always a climate
always
emergency.
very emergency.
It's a climate emergency, as if, you know, that it's going to be the end of the world in 10 years if we stop eating meat, you know, you could help the planet, stuff like that. But it's just all methods of control, like Marty put in his tweet, man. And it's just, we have to fight against that. But I think what Michael Saylor did with his, you know, Bitcoin bullshit council, whatever, I think it was a good strategic move. Because, again, that council, in my opinion, was set up, Phil, just to fight the FUD. That is the purpose of that council. Like, it about planning where miners are going to mine? No. It's literally to fight the FUD. So...
FUD with FUD.
FUD with FUD. So yeah, man. But let's see. Bullish news. We're going to cover it on Simply Bitcoin. This is just the beginning, baby. This is going to escalate. This is just the first country. Wait till the second one falls. Let's see how they react. I'm so excited. Mankind is being freed. This is awesome. What a time to be alive. Phil, there was a software release today. Why don't you tell everybody about it?
Software releases. All right, everyone. We've got Bisq version 1.70. And for the people that don't know what Bisq is, you can go and buy and sell Bitcoin there. It's a completely decentralized platform, non-KYC. It's going to be down below in the show notes. Check it out.
Yeah, Bisq is awesome.
I was trying to think of something else. I'm like, no, that's about it.
Yeah, it's a decentralized peer-to-peer exchange, right? So you are directly connecting with the people that you are, you know, that you're trading with, and they have like an escrow system. Super cool. Highly recommend it. But like I said, it is a heavy software, so you kind of need like a good computer, or else it's gonna go.
It's gonna take a while.
Yeah, it's gonna take a while. But anyways, guys, that was our show. We hope you enjoyed the rest of your Saturday. If you enjoyed the episode, you know what to do. Smash that like button. And of course, if you want to continue hearing the Bitcoin news from the people perspective and the catastrophic fiat and shitcoin fails, definitely consider subscribing, and we will see you tomorrow on the next episode of Simply Bitcoin.
Fight the PSYOP.